And if anyone could comment to show me that there are people out there. I see two viewers right now, just steadily growing. So maybe if I refresh the chat, let's see. Does that do anything? No.
If I, for me?
Oh no, I got this program, and then that's how I'm able to do like all the windows and everything on here. So we're just hi. Shout out to
Pretty
Santa
cool.
J. Santa
Yeah,
J.
there we go.
We're good.
You are live.
I am live right now on Radio Vegas dot rocks. And if you have heard of me before, you are now listening to World Ghost Radio, where we talk about the paranormal, ghosts, aliens, cryptology, things that are unusual, unexplained. And tonight's guest, we have Lori Myers. She has worked with us before on a couple of videos, one of being the Silver Queens Hotel and also the Old Washoe Club. She's works down there too. And as if you know who this is and seen this face before, how you been?
Good, but my name's not Lori, it's Robin.
Oh, Robin. Well, then where did I get?
Why does it say Lori Myers?
I know. Why does it say that?
Well, I changed my name because of an incident that happened at the Law Show where a family was kind of in my face. So I changed my name on it was my pen name when I used to write for Beetroot.
Okay, because I kept saying Robin. I don't know. I thought I was confused.
Oh my God.
Condon.
Oh, okay. We'll change it back after
What is it?
that.
Both of those people. It's a good no effects song.
Robin?
Yeah, Robin.
Robin Condon? Okay.
Yep, Condon.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
I was just going along with what was posted to me. So I was like, I thought so. I was all like, wait a minute. I know this is Robin, and I was looking. I was like, wait, what? What's going on? So let's uh let's start with some of the things that have happened. So how did you end up um like with ghosts and experiences like um how how did it all start?
I've been sleeping since I was 5.
Hmm.
And then I was about 24 when I actually had an experience with someone else, which made me believe that all the other experiences I had were possibly real. And then after that, it just kind of snowballed out of control. I started doing investigations in Calgary, Alberta, and then my name kind of got out there. I worked with a few teams up here, Cappy, Ghost Hunt Alberta, all which I left because a lot of the times up here it's a fight for egos, and I'm not into that. So now I do it by myself, and I've been doing it for over a decade.
How haunted is Canada?
Which part?
Any part? I've never been there. That's that's why I'm
It's
asking.
not as like lax about people coming into the haunted places. Like they don't really offer like nights where you can come in, and they're really respectful of their ghosts kind of thing and keep them like family. It's hard to get into a lot of places here, whereas the States it's a lot easier. But we do have the Banff Springs Hotel, which is just an hour that way, and it's supposedly the most haunted hotel in Canada.
So that's what you guys call them in Canada, ghosts.
Yeah. Dude, if I say A, it's just gonna.
Ghosts. I like that. Okay. Um, and then of course we had you as far as the on the investigation for the Silver Queens
Yes.
room 11. Can you give us a bit of history on room 11 and what experiences you've had in room 11?
So I don't think the scariest part of my career was probably room 11. We came to do the wash show, and
Mm-hmm.
we rented room 11, me and my boyfriend Matt at the
Mm-hmm.
time. Sorry, you
Uh,
can say something?
oh no 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 go ahead. I'm just nodding my. I'm like I'm listening. Okay.
I believe
And then
the
the history is wasn't there a story with the bathtub?
Yeah, supposedly there was a prostitute, and everyone seems to think her name is Rosie. I personally think her name is Lynette. I go there every year, bring her flowers. Supposedly she slit her wrists in the
Mm-hmm.
tub, but I personally think that there was probably some kind of prostitution situation in those 12 and 14 in the
Mm-hmm.
front there.
And as far as have you seen or experienced anything as far as room 11?
Um, I stayed there overnight that night, and
Mm-hmm.
at about 2 p.m., we were in front of St. Mary's of the Mountains in Virginia City, this beautiful church. And the next thing I know, I woke up in bed. It was nighttime, and my boyfriend was completely tucked in beside me. Uh, I guess I had lost 7 hours.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
And when I woke up, he was completely tucked in, but my covers were pulled off of me. My dress was pulled up. I was fully exposed on my lower half, and there was a big white mist at the end of the bed. And I kind of grabbed my cell phone and I was like, "You're in real life." And then that's when I went back to bed and I felt a hand go across my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd woken up from a dream where I was not myself. I was in a tub, and I looked at one wrist and it was slit, the other wrist was slit, and then I started rubbing my stomach saying, "Nobody wants you, nobody wants you." And that's how I woke up and realized it was nighttime.
Oh wow. That is
Creepy.
that yeah, definitely creepy. Um, if there's anyone out there that has any questions for we are live right now. If there's anyone out there on Paranormal on Air that has questions for Robin, you could go ahead and shoot them out on the questions, of course, on the live chat. And I just got to do real quick to my sponsors. One of which being Las Vegas Oddities. Go out there, check out my Haunted Vintage collection. Mention Rocky, you will get a discount. Also, if you go on Shadow Mafia Paranormal, if you go on paranormalonair.com, click on Shadow Mafia Paranormal. They got some great videos of evidence collected through them. And last but not least would be Paranologies. Type in on air in the coupon section and you will get a Paranormal on Air discount. So we are back, and let's see. Tracy says, "I swear, go steal my socks." Put
They
two in the
do.
dryer, and damn it, one comes out. I feel that, Tracy. I think I've had that paranormal phenomenon happen to me more than one occasion. Um, let's see what'd you
So
have?
we have something special tonight. We're going till 8 o'clock. We've got some extra time, so we'll be pushing through. Second hour.
Second hour,
Second hour.
2 hours with Rocky, 2 hours with Kim, 2 hours with Robin. So stay tuned. Um, so let's get back into the whole Virginia City mix, and
Yeah.
we're gonna let's talk about the the old Washoe Club. Now, I've had some experiences there that are extremely unexplainable. Um, I remember you. Can you tell us the story just once of, or I don't even want to say story, the actual occurrence of you of one of the people that you knew there. I guess they saw someone walk on the staircase.
Are you talking about the guy that ran on the staircase on all fours?
Yeah, I guess they saw. So, I thought someone with the hat was someone with the black hat that they saw.
Um, so I've seen the Shadow Man on the third floor in the back
Hmm.
hallway. If you're talking about that, but
Is
also
is he
there
no?
is
There's this guy with the big black hat, and I guess he wears like a big black hat, and I guess there was someone passing him on the staircase, and they thought that he was right right there, and then they looked away, and then he was gone.
Oh, you're talking about the preacher?
The preacher, the preacher, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, I found out that this guy, Patrick Minogue, he was
Mm-hmm.
appointed to run the St. Mary's of the Mountain. And if you were to ask me my opinion, that church is one of the scariest places in Virginia City. Um, so on the top of the third floor, one of the ladies who had lived there when it was a boarding house in the 1980s, Linda,
Mm-hmm.
she had seen the gentleman coming down, and then she passed him going up. And when she turned around to see where the man had gone, and he was solid, he had disappeared into thin air.
Man, so the Washoe Club used to be a boarding house back in the
80.
1980s.
Yeah, yeah. Like subsidized housing kind of thing. Like, basically, it was like they had. Someone told me that they actually had a guy that was appointed every night. Someone was appointed to like walk the halls because there was actually no smoke detectors.
Mm,
So in case someone fell asleep with a cigarette in their mouth,
right.
they could pick everybody up and get them out of there. It was really not up to code. And the fire department came up in the 1980s and took one look at it and was like, nah. And so the last living tenants were in there and left.
So what about, okay, so I've had many experiences with the room with the red door.
Yes.
And
That, that's a very active room. Lots of people would freak out. Lots of people would pass out. Dogs would get really agitated. Babies would cry.
what's your or what do you know about that room?
So I have this ability I picked up from a near-death experience at the Dumas, and ever since then, I've been able to feel death in my body. When I was
Mm.
training for the tours, my experience in that room was the first week I was there. I was actually in the doorway, and not the one that slams by itself, but the other doorway.
Hmm.
I actually felt what I believe to be an overdose. I got cold sweats, my hands got clammy, I got very nauseous, I got very dizzy. And when I used to tell this story to people as well, any man that was about 50 years old would actually go through the symptoms as I was saying them. And they would have to sit outside for hours and drink water. I saw the door slam once. I had a weird sensation where I felt like I got electrocuted in that room. But on a whole, I never had really anybody get scratched, and that was the claim. Supposedly over 28 people have been scratched in that room. I have seen the scratches from Carl's tours,
Hmm.
but I only ever had one man get scratched on my tour, and he asked for it. So,
And yeah, has Carl experienced the door slamming as well?
yes, it took me 6 years to see that. When I saw it, I was up there with this one guy, and I think I yelled, "Thank you," because I've been waiting for it for so long. But Carl has seen it, and also, it was captured on Ghost Adventures as well.
Yeah, we actually captured the door slamming as well during a live video. Kim, you had a question?
Yeah, it's saying that the live video was interrupted on Facebook.
Sorry.
Do you see that on there? Are you going?
It looks fine on our end from what I see. Are you on?
I'm gonna refresh. As long as it's still going.
Yeah, are you sharing on your side?
I've been sharing away.
Oh,
So
okay. Sharing away.
I've been
Sharing away.
away.
Sharing away. All right. So okay, it's so you only seen the scratches once.
Yeah, like I'd only seen them happen once when it was my tour. Like I'd seen people come down from Carl's tours while I was barking, and they would show me their scratches. But a lot of the times, it was just like people running into things or something. It didn't look like a normal paranormal scratch will,
Hmm.
because I personally think that they come from the inside out and form like blisters, like they do something in your body. I don't think it's something actually scratching you. And I had one tour where this girl was overreacting, and this lady was like, the only scratches I see are the ones you just put on yourself. So a lot of attention seekers,
Oh my god! I could only imagine. That's
you
funny.
know. I went in there thinking I'm going to learn a lot about ghosts and spirits, and I actually ended up learning a lot about people.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
People, they want to be attention seekers. They all want some kind of godly experience up there. They all want, proof. And if you go up there and you're drunk and nobody wants to talk to you that's living, that's, in the bar, why would the spirit come out and waste its time on you? You know?
Yeah. Um, have you ever got a chance to do? I know Mackey Manor
Oh, Mackie Mansion. Yes,
or
I
Mackey
have.
Mansion. I'm sorry, Mackey
Yeah.
Mansion. I always get Mackey Manor and Mansion because Manor's back east. But yes, Mackey Mansion.
If you talk to the people who run it, they told me it's actually McKay or something.
Oh, McKay.
Like
Okay.
Irish way to say it is McKay. So
Have you had any experiences over there, or have you?
yeah, I stayed. So I walked into the Mark Twain one day, like I think it was like 4 years ago, and this guy Octavio was taking care of the Mackey Mansion at that point. It's since gone to new people. He was this crazy, weird, omnisexual Italian guy, and he let us go stay in the hotel. Me and my friend Betty, or sorry, the mansion, and I stayed in Mrs. Mackey's room, so I got to sleep and spend the night in the richest woman in America's bed, supposedly. And then my friend Betty slept in the room next door, which is supposedly Mr. Mackey's room, although it's questioned whether they even lived there at all. That doorway between the two bedrooms, that's where all the activities seem to happen.
What floor is that on? Is that on the second?
That's the top floor. Yeah.
That is, yeah.
Yeah. And we had some activity. If you go downstairs, like on the tours, they won't take you there, but there's a dining room downstairs with a big elongated table. Lots of stuff will show up in that mirror. Also, if you take the way in on the side, there's this thing called the winter and the summer kitchen, which is like two apartments that I'm pretty sure that people live in there now. But when Octavia was there, he was staying there. And in the winter kitchen, it was crazy. There were these ash handprints that looked totally inhuman, and they would show up like every night, and they were made of ash, and they were on the roof, and those are like 15-foot ceiling. So he got really freaked out to the other kitchen. And if you actually follow that kitchen to the back, there is a tunnel that would lead to the prostitute cribs.
Interesting. That happens at Goldfield
Yeah.
too, with the tunnels underneath.
Tunnels and prostitutes.
Yeah.
People know how to work that back in the day.
So
Oh
Robin,
crap! Oh crap! We got to go to the tunnel. Come on, let's go. Get you out of here.
One of my favorite,
so Robin, are you saying that you do those tours now at the Washoe Club?
I did them I was like a volunteer for the summer. They were trying out evening tours, and so I was there from May until August 30th,
Okay.
and then I left. Yeah.
So where are you at now? Are you in Canada or where are you?
Ooh, I'm at my parents' house in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, I sold everything.
With
to
all the
do
goose.
Yeah. But yeah, I sold everything to go do this. This was my dream, and I wanted to go do it for years. And I have a diabetic cat, and my parents said they'd take care of it, and I got an inheritance, so I had the money to go down there and support myself.
So when are you coming back?
I always come back, usually in May. I go to punk rock bowling in Vegas.
What is it?
Punk rock bowling?
Punk rock bowling?
Yeah, May long. It's really fun.
So we're gonna see you in May?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm there 21st to the 24th at the Golden Nugget.
I love Fremont Street.
so good, right?
I love Fremont Street.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's great.
You know,
great place.
I've been to Vegas like I think 5 times now, and I've never seen the Strip.
That's a first.
You've never
That's
seen
a first.
a strip or?
No,
I
the
thought-
strip
Oh yeah,
I know,
I've
I know.
seen people's Strip. But yeah.
on Fremont Street. So,
So what?
Pretty
So
sure
we
there's
have
none with their boobs out.
we have some things we want to ask you. So we're gonna be talking about Goldfield and you almost died somewhere here. What is this, Montana or somewhere? What is this?
So One of the places that I was most connected to, and I felt a connection to, is the Dumas brothel, which was the longest running brothel, I think, in possibly America, built in 1900, I think, and it ended up closing in like the 80s. And it's this amazing, amazing building. It's one of the most active buildings I've been to. And when I go there, they call me Alice Black. And then I started to do research and found out there was actually a girl named Alice Black that was there. Um, the owner, Michael, and me became friends before he died. Uh, he died about a year after Ghost Adventures shot there.
So where is
No,
this at? Is this Montana, Colorado, or what? Where
it's
is it?
in Butte, Montana.
What happened?
So I went there about 2016, I think, on September 11th, and I stayed the night with the owner. He didn't really do that with too many people, but he felt a connection with me. We stayed upstairs in one of the rooms, and he told me, Ghost Adventures was going to film there in like the next week. And I thought it was so funny, walking around there with two beers in my hands, and then I watched the program, and they're all running around screaming. I've spent whole long weekends in there, and I've seen some crazy stuff. Uh, but we stayed there 2 years ago, and we ended up staying in the crib room number 7. I fell asleep on one of the couches. Two ladies fell asleep in the bed, and my one friend fell asleep on the floor because there's no heat there. So it was like kind of winter time. And like we ended up waking up 3.5 hours because I had my audio recorder on after we went to bed. And when I woke up, I started vomiting instantly and I couldn't feel my limbs. The lady, I turned around and saw that the other lady was vomiting and crying into a plastic bag. Another lady was falling into the wall, so she passed out in the hallway and went back to bed for some reason. Um, Anyways, we were poisoned with carbon monoxide emissions from the generator for those 3.5 hours.
Wow.
Who?
I was about an hour away from death, they say, because my toenails actually rejected. Gross, right?
Wow. Did
That
that
is-
just
Yeah.
did was that paranormal or did was
No, that was human error.
human error?
The generator.
I,
Yeah.
since I do EVP work, like I left my recorder on, and you can clearly hear in the recorder someone saying, listen, like a woman, and then I wake up. So if anything, I would attribute the spirits to helping me that night.
Wow.
That moment. Yeah.
Interesting.
But that place is a trip, and the people who bought it, they don't know what they bought.
So what'd you pick
Yes.
up there? I mean, were you able to get some evidence?
Yeah, I feel bad talking about this, but like, I want to, but, the owner there, he had, his reasons for not telling, but, there's a mass grave in the basement there. We found femurs and ribs of children. It's not my place. I come from a different country. I didn't want to really get involved, but I felt guilty about not telling anybody ever since. I had dreams that I have premonition dreams. If spirits want to talk to me, I've had it since I was little, and I had a dream for a month straight where I was digging into the ground under the stairs, and I pulled something out covered in a muslin sheath kind of thing, like a dirty cloth, and it had weight to it. And when I pulled it out, I wake up and the dust comes off, and psychic went there months after I told the owners this, and he said that there's a woman named Catherine that's buried under those stairs.
Wow.
Damn.
So I think they don't know, and I think nobody really knows, but if you go around that furnace, you'll find them.
What was that, Kim?
Oh, nothing. I just keep getting an error on the video. I just want to let you know. It keeps saying
On-
it's
on our
interrupted.
video?
Yeah, so
What is going on?
it just keeps saying your video is being interrupted.
That's crazy because I can't even like get a signal in my.
So
Did
can
you-
it is
did
it
you
is
ma-
everyone see?
they were-
So Robin, can
Huh?
you see the video? Is the video running on your end?
Yeah, I can see my video. I can't see you. Like, I haven't been able to see you the whole entire time.
Oh,
You're
she's
just
talking
talking to
about
my face
Skype.
right now.
Yeah, yeah, she's on Skype. She's not on Facebook like we are, and I'm trying to figure this out too. But the thing is that for some odd reason my internet connection is not working
Yeah, so
on
there's
my
something going on.
like
Um,
on my phone or anything. I'm gonna have to use my other phone. See if
I
I can
hope I
find.
don't get in
Yeah, what
trouble for
is?
saying that.
so I know there's some things that you can't say, but what is what's going on with Zach's? How come you won't go there? Everyone always
Um,
wants to know about Zach's museum. What's
so
your
we went 2 days, so like, remember when the Lorraine Warren exhibit came?
yeah?
So I
Oh,
wanted to go
are you
see.
talking about the chair? The chair?
Yeah, yeah.
Demon chair? Yeah, I remember.
So the day before we showed up in Vegas, they had closed it down because people were having reactions.
Yeah, yeah.
And I went into that room, and as soon as I walked in, I was standing right beside the door when you walk in and right in front, and I felt like a cat was circling my legs in a figure 8 pattern. Like, I could feel like a tail rubbing against my legs. But I didn't want to say anything because, I do tours too, so let the person tell their story. And at the end of it, when they had the question period, I asked them about it, and it persisted the whole entire time I was in the room. Um, she said it was a common thing that happened and she'd heard of it before. When I got back to the Washoe, um, I had found out that my cat had gotten sick back in Calgary. He had turned jaundiced for some reason, and they were going to put him down. Like, he's 13 and diabetic, so it didn't seem too crazy. But when I came into work, the bar manager said, "You need to sage yourself." And so I bought sage, and I went into the back outside of the Washoe, and I staged myself. And then I came back in the next day. My mom called, and she said that the cat made a miraculous recovery, and the vets don't know what's up.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So if I watch The Conjuring 3 and it's all about cats, so I'm gonna be really great. But it was creepy, to say the least.
So how
Oh,
like so you're really psychic? I mean, how psychic are you?
I don't call myself that. I'm an empath. Um, I just People say things that I am, and I just say I'm an empath. I've been called clairaudient. The thing is like, the more you do this, and the more you like spend hours listening to audio or going over video footage or whatever, the more you pick up in your senses. It seems the more you open,
Mm-hmm.
and then being submerged in Virginia City for 4 months, I was seeing things every day. By the end of it, I was having experiences every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hate I don't want to say I hate it, but it's very time consuming for a video review. Is it you go over like 8 hours of footage for like what like 10-second clip or some amazing. I mean, if you really look
I
for
don't
it, you'll get it. But
I don't even like I use my QuickTime, and then I just go frame by frame, and I take 5-minute clips because I'm just by myself, right?
yeah,
Yeah, and then usually I can catch things just like that. That's how I do my video. But my audio, that's a whole process. I have like novels I've written because I always listen to it first to see what I can pick up on the headphones with my ears. And then I go back and I weed through everything and pick it all out. I have a library of over 2,000 voices.
So you were sending me some pictures of some ghosts. I mean, what was the ghost one? You
Which,
you caught an apparition on camera. Was that from Goldfield?
which one? Because I've posted a couple. Sorry.
The one that you sent me through on the instant messenger. I think you said it was your favorite one.
It's not ringing a bell, but I've caught lots in the Goldfield. The first time I went in there was the most spiritual 2 hours of my whole entire life. Uh,
are we talking about the hotel or the
the whole,
hotel? Okay.
yeah. I got let in by Virginia Ridgeway in 2015. I was outside the front doors. Nobody was allowed in. I've been coming to the town for a couple of years. Never really thought about asking, like maybe it'll work out one day. But I was standing there taking photos, and then I heard a woman's voice behind me, and I turned around, and it was this little old lady in the back of a car, and her nurse had driven her because she had two broken hips. What lady with two broken hips gets in a car to come like 2 blocks to find some woman outside from Canada to let her in the building? She said the spirits came from the building and told her I was outside. I was only outside for 10 minutes.
Man.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then we were in there from 9:30 till 11:30 in the morning. When we got to the front door, and I have this all on audio, it's a trip, she turned to me and she said, you're God of this hotel. And I thought she was crazy. And then we got in, and she did this really cool thing. So, like, they don't have them anymore. They took them out, which is really unfortunate. But they used to have these mailboxes. And Virginia would walk up with me, and she's like, okay, you're going to feel which ghosts are in the room. And so she'd go like this to get the energy going. And then she'd go through all the mailboxes. And when the air came out, that was a ghost in its room.
Man.
It was really a neat experience.
And you were talking about Elizabeth?
Yeah, Elizabeth's real. Anybody who thinks that she isn't.
What do you mean by real?
Huh?
What do you mean by real?
She's in there, man. There's a woman in that room. When I was there this last September, I paid $100 to stay there by myself. I spent the whole night there by myself.
And you're talking about room 109, right?
Yeah, but at about 2, I started to hear a woman crying from that area, and it was so loud. It was like, woo! And it was loud. I almost ran out of that building. I'm not kidding.
And I've experienced her. Now, what makes her stay there? I mean, what makes her energy stay there?
I personally believe because of the smells. Me and Kim were in there 3 years ago. We rented the building from Jerry. And yeah, right. And then in room 109, and me and Kim started to both smell what smelled like menstrual blood. I know that sounds bad, that I know what that smells like really well. Think of Zeller's bathroom, or a Walmart bathroom.
Right.
And it was just this funky smell. And I personally think that whoever was in that room and bled out into the floor, and possibly that actually connected her to that room. Think of all the emotion if you were trapped in there that you would release. All that crazy emotion. I personally think she's there.
So what I got out of this is that the Walmart restroom for women smells like menstrual blood.
No!
They never change those things. So bad. I'm sorry.
So
Shout out to Walmart.
In your bathrooms.
So I've been in room 109, and you can feel the sadness, and I did pick up some EVPs of her. But now when you were there, you could actually hear her crying. What did you go in there? What'd you experience in there?
So last September, I was a little bit hesitant to go to a few places because I'm by myself. And if something happens, I have to wait till 9 a.m. for someone to come find me. So I ended up going into room 109, but I did not go back to room 105 and 106 or whatever. Those rooms scare me. You know which ones I'm talking about.
They're nearby. They're just past 109 or what?
They're at the very back of that hallway. The two rooms this side. The one on this side seems to be the crazier one, I think. And then the one on the other side is the one where Virginia said she got lifted up and slammed up against the wall and was levitated.
Right. It does feel creepier the farther you go down past 109.
Wait a minute. Well, let's back up here. Let's go back to what happened to Virginia. She ended up getting slammed against the wall and levitated inside the Goldfield Hotel.
Well, supposedly the story is that she brought in these people, and in
Mhm.
that room they like drew a pentagram on the ground and started doing witchy things. And Virginia was like in the background, kind of like watching. And supposedly something picked her up from underneath her arms and slammed her against the wall. And when they looked at her, she was actually like this far above the ground, like someone had picked her up and just kept her there. I'm gonna guess it was one of the Georges.
One of the George Nixons or the George, what was the other one?
Wingfield.
Wingfield, the two Georges.
Yeah.
And who are the two Georges again?
The two Georges were the guys, I think, who financed the whole thing,
Mm.
like the building and whatnot. And George Nixon actually became a Nevada state senator. And he was also part of the Bohemian Club, which I don't know if you know about that.
I kind of have an idea, and I kind of have an idea that a lot more things went on in Goldfield pertaining to that era when the Masons and all of that
Yeah.
was getting started over here, because Goldfield was originally like bigger than Las Vegas. It was kind of like the first Las Vegas, and so there was a lot of that funny stuff going on.
Yeah, and I've always wanted to go in the Nixon Bank as well. I heard that place is crazy.
It is. It's all haunted. It's all haunted.
Yeah, well, the whole town is, yeah.
So I don't know if you can see me or not. Can you see, Rocky? Is there any way you can?
You're showing it on the camera right now.
Can you see this picture? This is the one you sent me.
I actually don't have a visual view at all. Like, I've just been staring at my face. Do you want to send it to me on the
Here.
send it to me
Oh
on
yeah, she
Facebook
can't see us
Messenger.
because of the
Okay, well
video.
I'll resend it to you, and
Yeah,
I'll
I'll be able
show
to tell you.
people, and then you can let us know what that is.
Yeah, for sure. But I love that building. That building is magical, and if you are allowed in that building, you should have some sort of respect for everything in there, because it is a magical place. If you're gonna go in there and act reckless, they'll put you in their place for sure. Oh, this guy.
Yes. Can you tell us about this guy?
So this guy right here, I was up on the second floor taking photos.
And this was the hotel, right?
Series.
Goldfield Hotel, right?
Yeah. Second floor of the Goldfield Hotel, towards, facing towards the wing above room 109. That portion of the building is definitely more active. But I took a series of about 7 photos, and that was one of them. And that's the only photo where that white apparition, what looks like a man, is actually poking out of the doorway. One of the claims there is that there's a gunman, and he comes around the side and will watch you and then go back. I've also seen a big black dog up there.
So tell us more about your night alone at the Goldfield Hotel.
Dude, it was so scary. So one of the most memorable experiences of my 5 months was that night. It was about 2:30ish when everything started to go down. I came down from the second floor and I was setting up my sleeping bag, getting everything ready to sleep in the lobby so they could knock on the door in the morning and I would open it. And in those windows, those big, huge windows, right? You've seen them. This man walked up to the window and he waved at me like dead-eyed and I had no idea why this man is out here. The bar's closed hours ago. There's no gas station in town. Why is he walking around? And when he made eye contact with me, I got scared and I hid behind a pillar. And then I heard him, and on my audio you can hear it. He walks up to the door. He knocks 4 times, and then he jimmies the door. And that I shouted, "You can't come in here!" And then everything stopped. I couldn't see him anywhere. I ran all the way around the building. There was no man, and you can see for quite a ways.
Oh my God! So now you're tripped out. Now you're scared to death, and this was at 2:30 or so. And then you were locked in for the rest of the night. What happened next?
I sat on that sleeping bag and I watched things happen. I saw the black dog a whole bunch. I heard people walking up and down the lobby stairs. There was a man standing in the doorway over by the room where the piano used to be. And then I heard Elizabeth crying from the room. And probably about 4:30, I had convinced myself to fall asleep.
No, come on now. Tell us you went down to the basement.
I did go down the basement.
The shower room.
2 or 3 times. In the area by the elevator, there's like a little mechanical area with it's kind of right beside the room where the brick got thrown. My flashlight turned off by itself, and then my live feed stopped for like a minute, and that was about it that happened in the basement.
Well, because when I was in the basement and I was in the shower room, there was something standing behind me breathing. Scared me to death.
It's creepy in there. Have you heard the growling in there?
Yes, the growling.
Yeah, I personally think that area is probably the most sinister part of the basement, is that shower room, in my opinion.
Well, was the growling the black dog, or do you think this is separate?
It's the dog.
You think it's the dog growling in the basement?
So I have a picture of one of the windows at the front that I took 2 years ago, and you can clearly see a man in a tall hat, and he's got like his suit on, and then right at the bottom there's husky dog. You can see this dog. It's crazy.
Do you have it? Can you post it where you're at, in front of your camera?
Well, I can send it to you.
I mean, right now, can you show the camera that, or?
It's on my computer. Like, I don't have physical. Who does? Oh, I'm here now. But anyways, I'll send it to you. But it was in the window, and when I was there this last time, I asked out loud in the lobby. I said, is that the dog's name? And this man answered me back. He said, no, it's Snowflake. So if you go back in there, man, maybe call out to Snowflake, the dog. I don't know.
There's a big black dog named Snowflake.
Yeah. But I think it shows itself as black. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's actually a black dog. Like, it wasn't like a black dog when it was living. I think it's like, it's a dog now. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very...
Your connection's cutting.
Yeah, I know. Like, we're getting all very, very paranormal around here.
Woo. So was that your scariest place?
No, the Silver Queen, definitely hands down, that experience that night was the scariest I've ever had in my life.
In room 11?
Oh. Yeah. That was terrifying. Losing time, it's almost like, because I worked in the bar industry, so I've been slipped, date rape before in a drink. I know what it feels like. And if I was to relate, losing time, basically the same kind of thing. It's like you almost get slipped something, and then all of a sudden you wake up somewhere else and you're like, how'd I get here?
So, do you ever take anything back with you or any attachments?
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about your scariest one.
Well, after the night of the Silver Queen, I had a lady in my house, and she would just come down the hallway and sit on the couch, and you could see the couch dip. Me and my cat would get freaked out all the time. I've had, basically, every time I come back from these trips, I go for Reiki. To cut the cords. I go to a lady named Nikki. She's really cool. And she'll talk to me about people that show up while she's cutting the cords. This time on this trip was probably the worst Reiki session I've ever had. I had this very strange sensation of hands that were reaching under my rib cage and then pulling forward. It was like pressure up.
Oh.
And I had that when I slept for about 2 months after I came back.
Wow. And what do you think causes those attachments?
Well, supposedly they say that if you're a victim, like you've had things happen to you, and you've played the part of the victim, you're you attract those things. They feed off of those emotions that you exude, and therefore, a lot of probably sensitive people who have been through traumas, you know?
Um, what type of equip? Do you have any paranormal equipment or any type of like
Yeah.
uh, like gadgets?
The stuff I use might be frowned upon by the community. I don't care. I've 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 adapted as I've gone.
You're going to
There's
be
things
judged by your equipment, by the paranormal
seriously, it's
community.
happened. It's
So,
crazy. But I've used that ghost radar and I've got some pretty interesting stuff, like back and forth conversation in room 11 and stuff. I'm not saying it's 100% or anything like that, but a lot of the times when I was in the washoe, my phone would get manipulated as well.
mm,
People's phones would drain. So there must be something to that.
right.
Also, I do EVP and stuff, so I always walk around with a recorder in my vest pocket when I wear my vest out, and that's always running throughout the whole night. A lot of people will do EVP sessions. See, the thing is, though, is in the silence, yeah, okay, you can hear the voice, right? But a lot of the times they use those sounds around to actually contribute to the voice, I believe. And I catch quite a lot when basically you're not even searching. That's when they seem to come out. I also use my guitar. I start every session off by playing them a little mini concert of songs of my choosing.
Stairway to
Um,
Heaven.
huh?
Stairway to Heaven.
No. I can't play that. I'm not that good. Think like folky stuff, some old 97s I played because I learned about them this year. Rural Alberta Advantage, stuff like that. But I play and I sing, and when I do that, I tend to get quite a lot of responses. Um, Lights form, they approach a lot more, especially in the washoe. I had the little girl for the first time this year come out the most when I would play guitar. Sometimes you can hear people singing along. At the old Montana State Prison, I actually sang in the administration building, and then I got mad because nobody would clap me. And when I went over my audio, there was a man saying, "Clap away with me," and you could hear people clapping.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
Tom,
but music was transcendent, man. Like
well,
anyone knows what that is.
well, I think a lot of the any kind of vibration or frequency that you can put out there, whatever residual or whatever is there, it kind of carries it. That's how you
Yeah.
once you move that energy, then you can hear it and pick it up.
I don't want to say it's you decide. I want to say my heart decline. I don't.
Yeah.
So-
Do
It
you,
was funny too. People were like, "Come play at the Red Dog," and I was like, "I can't do that. Like, I can play in an empty building in the pitch black and sit up there by myself, no problem. But if you ask me to play in front of people, I better have at least 5 beers in my system."
well, what about the rest of Virginia City?
we just lost all our viewers from my.
So I picked up EVPs on the street, and I saw shadows running down the street, and
Oh yeah, you
what
can go anywhere there, and it's everywhere.
it is. What other experiences have you had? Any other buildings there?
Well, the Union's really scary. Uh, when I went in there, so they were opening the Union when I showed up. They were getting it all ready. Dawn had just reopened it. May Long, I believe, was when it reopened. And my friend Nick Griggs from Paranormal Disorder was there with a few people. So I took them over and we sat at a table, and I felt like a man came up behind me and he just started like growling, growling, growling. And I could picture this man in a weird duster with like a cowboy hat and a white beard, like really trimmed.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden, I saw what looked like a woman being raped on a table with men trying to pin her down. And it was like a flash of a book, like if you kind of go through all the pages of a book and you draw a stick figure. on it, and it
And then
does
it's
its little thing.
the little animation thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was like in my head. So I would see the room, and then all of a sudden it would be like a page, and it would be like this woman fighting these men off, screaming, and they're tearing her clothes off. And I turned pale white, and then I left, and everybody was like, "Are you like on drugs right now before work?" And I'm like, "No, dude, I just went in the union, and I don't think I'll ever go back there." And then I went up on my tour, and when I came back down, I had bruises on my thighs.
Wow.
Yeah, I never went back in there the whole time I was there. Never stepped foot in there again. It's scary.
Have you ever been to the Queen Mary?
I stayed in the most haunted room this year.
What B
It was
three?
that
What is it?
probably,
B 340?
yeah. Don't do it.
Oh, tell us! Don't tell us.
It's a tourist trap, I think, but that's just an opinion, right? I mean, if you really want to do it, go do it. But it's $641 American for the night, so have fun.
What did you get any experiences out of the room, or did you
I
go?
only one experience in the room. We basically kept the door open so we could enjoy it with other people because other people, they were all in the hallway lurking. And so we just left the door open and let all these people come and experience the room. People had experiences. The only experience I had.
Their K2 meters just like holding them inside your door, or
No, they didn't have any equipment. Everybody wanted to see the room. It was
Oh,
crazy. It
okay.
was like the room was a celebrity in itself. And then I put the REM pod in the bathroom, and
Mm.
it never went off the whole time. We had people in there, it just sat there in the bathroom. Nobody really went in there. And then I was sleeping in the bed by myself, and I woke up and I started to choke. Like I turned to the side and I was coughing. And as soon as I put my head back down on the pillow, the REM pod went completely off, like full blast, like, and I freaked out, and then I went back to bed. And that was the only activity I had in that room. But I did see things in the hallways.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you explored any other parts of the ship while you
Oh
were.
yeah,
Well,
dude. In
what
my pajamas.
what did you feel that was the most haunted part of the Queen Mary?
So the engine room feels eerie, but I mean, the engine room looked. The propeller room made me nauseous. I felt very sick in there. Um, the that door 13, that one I could feel the death of that person. Um, Very painful. Also, I saw there's like a staircase at the front that they talk about, and supposedly a man fell down it. Well, I was at the bottom of the staircase taking photos, and I saw basically from the shoulders to the knees a person in a suit, like a man, walk by and then just disappear. That was cool. And there's a lady in red at the front. We
Mm.
were taking the paranormal tour, and we were up at the front, all in a semicircle sitting around. And I was sitting next to my friend. I saw what looked like this portion of a lady's arm float by this porthole. And then I noticed the lady that was standing in front of that area, she started to react. She was like shivering. And when I left the room, I asked her, I was like, hey, what happened in that room to you? I saw you react. And she's like, my arm, it hurts so bad. And so that was an interesting experience.
Yeah, I've got a chance to investigate the ship, and um, I would say, yeah, more the lower decks and the engine room are probably the most the most haunted area, along with
The front
the
of the set.
yeah, the front of the ship.
Yeah.
It's but we did get some stuff. When we were when we were using the spirit box on the was it the quarter deck or the front of the ship? Yeah, when we were doing
Like up
spirit
by the
communicate.
captain's area.
Yeah, yeah, we were
Yeah.
getting communication there, and we got some amazing evidence. So
Our tour guide sucked. I just need to say. And I
what
didn't
did
have a chance to
what did they look like?
He was like brown hair, like aspiring actor. I learned more about how Ben Affleck is a shitty actor, then I won't watch it. He's like, the Pearl Harbor movie was filmed here, and he's like, I hate Ben Affleck. And all right, cool. He was not happy at his job or something. I don't know. He said, this is a paranormal tour, but don't ask me any stories about the paranormal. And then I asked him about the pool. We never even got to go see the pool for $52. We didn't even get to go stand.
You didn't get a chance to talk to Jackie?
No, and that's the whole reason I went.
That's why everybody goes. The whole right. Peter James, right? Yeah.
So I experienced the pool and the portal that's in the changing area in the pool. And I got really dizzy and sick. I had to sit down, and I just felt really horrible. And I actually heard footsteps kind of run down the little walkway in the changing area. And finally I had to get out of there. Finally, the tour walked away, and once we got out of that whole pool area, it was fine. So yeah, there definitely is a portal down there in that changing area.
Well, they say it's highly active because of the quartz crystal on the ceiling of the pool area. Like if you ever notice, the whole
is that why?
Ceiling is quartz. Yeah.
I don't recall that.
Yeah.
So and so I also got some EVPs walking down the hallway. And even in the room, my room was very aggressive. There was some really aggressive spirits in there. And I caught some EVPs. I left the cameras running all night. But, so the Queen Mary is definitely a trip.
You can rent any room. You don't have to rent the 340. You know what I mean? Like, you can rent any room on that ship and have a really great time, more than spending, $1,000 Canadian to stay a night. It was kind of ridiculous.
It is. It's very expensive now, but if you can get some group, a group of people and go in there.
40 people in room 3. All with the K2.
Right? You're gonna catch some great evidence.
Yeah.
So did you go to the Stanley Hotel or what? What about that?
So I went to the Stanley Hotel. I went with my mom. Shining's my favorite movie. Love it. And I've always wanted to go. And as we drove up to Estes Park, it was kind of disappointing because there's like a grocery store right next door, and it's not really in the mountains, it's like in a suburban area. And then we got there, and there's no channel that shows The Shining or anything. But I rented Lord Dunraven's room, 401, I believe it was. And then I met this guy there, and his name was Omar Gosh TV or something. And I didn't know he was like this YouTube guy, and we went around and checked things out. And I have to say, the best part of that whole experience was the concert hall.
Did you hear like dishes chiming and music or?
No, in the concert hall, so like I said, I could feel death or whatever. So I think I felt the lady froze to death, and it's where the hangers are, right outside the bathroom for the ladies.
Yeah.
Like hung?
And we saw hangers move by themselves as well, right there as well. Yeah.
So overall, it was pretty active, or not really?
Like my room wasn't really that active. I guess there was a lot of people on the tours that would come by, and honestly, the best part of that room was I would scare everybody through the door. It was fun. They'd come up to the door, this is the room. I would be behind there in the keyhole watching, and I'd shake the door. It was super fun. But when we came in, there was lipstick very weirdly above the toilet paper that was strategically folded. You think if a maid came to pick up the room, they'd clean up the lipstick mark above the toilet paper roll. You know what I mean? And then, so secrets out. When I travel, I bring my old underpants. And then I throw them out while I go, like I don't hold on to them, I just toss them. And I'd thrown out some underpants, and we were coming into the room after dinner, and the underpants I threw in the garbage were splayed out in the middle of the floor, and my mom freaked out.
Whoa. Now, what?
That was funny.
Robin's here.
Your reputation, what is the saying? Your reputation
Precedes you.
precedes you.
It was pretty funny.
I think Robin's here. Like,
the people who run the place are excellent, and whatever issues that we had with the construction, they saw to it, and they actually gave us our room for free for the night. So
nice.
it worked out really well, and I met a lot of cool people. But as for going back ever, I don't think I will. Yeah, it's just the concert hall is dope. Like if you're gonna go and explore, go explore the concert hall because there is so much activity in that concert hall. We heard banging upstairs. There were like, weird anomalies flying around. The people were seeing shadows, voices. It was really cool. Poltergeist activity with the hangars moving by themselves. But the building itself, I didn't really get even any feelings,
What is the most haunted location in Canada?
In Canada,
Where are all the
well,
ghosts? Where they hang out at?
where did the goose hang out? So the Banff Springs Hotel is probably one of the most reputable. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I don't even know the story
Where-
behind it.
where
What's
is
what's the
it?
story behind the
The
hotel?
Banff Springs Hotel was built by Fairmont Resorts or
Hmm.
whatever. It's owned by Fairmont Resorts, and it's super cool looking architecture, all that stuff. Lots of stone masonry stuff probably went in there, but there's supposedly like one room on one floor that was actually sealed shut. And just like The Shining, it was like a man that supposedly murdered his whole family in there, and they sealed the door shut so nobody could go there anymore or find it. Then
What-
there's the bride who supposedly set herself on fire on the staircase or something.
Well, where is this? What
I-
city? What city are you talking about?
Banff, Alberta.
Banff, Alberta.
Banff, Alberta,
Got
buddy.
it. I've been there. I would have never known.
Did you go stay at the?
No, I passed through.
Oh, okay. Did you see it?
I did see it. Yeah.
It's crazy beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The pool's there. Dope. They've got bowling too. But the Dean House in Calgary is probably the most repeated haunted place in Calgary. The Dean House, the Prince House, which is at Heritage Park. We got to go investigate that. I think it was like 10 years ago almost. They closed down the park and we all got to go in. And we ended up going to the Prince House, the Camera Opera House, and also this place called the Airdrie House. And I'd never even heard of the Airdrie House, but the person who worked there was like, this place is the most active, and it was. And then I was in Virginia City 3 months later. I ended up in a Gold Hill Cemetery. And then when I did research on the place in Calgary, I found out that the owner's wife's dad is actually buried in that cemetery. So you have to wonder if I was led there or something,
Interesting.
But yeah, there's lots of really cool cemeteries here. Like the Union Cemetery is probably one of my favorite places to go. I love cemeteries though.
So is ghost hunting popular in Canada?
Maybe in BC, and I don't really know about Alberta.
Have you got a chance to go to the Clam Hotel since you're so close to Goldfield? No, you're like 30 minutes away.
Staying in that double wide, dude. No. I'll stay in the Mizpah, man. That Clown Hotel, I think the only reason that place is actually haunted is because it's right beside that cemetery.
Yeah.
I don't think the hotel itself is haunted. I just think the spirits from that cemetery come over.
Can you make a noise?
Oh my god, could you imagine?
dead clowns.
Like
Showing.
John Wayne Gacy at the end of your bed. No thanks. Yeah.
Well, the mitzvah, I didn't get anything there. I mean, it's beautiful, but I didn't get anything. Did you?
Yeah, lots. The first time we stayed there, I stayed there with my friend Mark. He plays in a band called Chicks Dig It. We stayed in room 502 at the top, the Red Ladies room, of course. It was the best sleep I ever had in my life, but we were drinking at the bar, and the bartender's name was Robin as well. And I had gotten up from the bar to go to the bathrooms, like the main bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into the girls' bathroom, and the taps turned on by themselves while I was in there. And it turned on hot water, if that makes any difference. Then I got to the bar, and this sulfur smell followed me all the way out of the bathroom, which is like super embarrassing. But when I sat down, my friend Mark thought the lady next to me had shit her pants. The bartender said that she smelt it too, and it was pretty crazy. But when we got up to the room, we took pictures, and I caught a picture of the angry old miner. And I also caught a picture that was really amazing that got deleted off my phone. I don't know if you've ever had that happen.
Yes. Things
Actually,
seem
it's
to disappear. The most
corrupted
amazing,
files.
yeah,
It's
corrupted
just
files,
crazy.
deleted by
Yeah.
accident.
The bartender said it was the best picture she'd ever seen in there. It was this lady sitting on the couch, and like where my shoulders are, if there was a wooden part behind this couch, like you could see through the shoulder part, but then it got thick and black, and at the bottom it looked like a crinoline, and it was all white and see-through, but the edges of the crinoline, like the ruffles, they glowed like lights, and then right at the neck part was emanating red. So when I went down, I asked if she got her throat slit, and she's like, "Well, that's the story." And I was like, "Okay." And Mark from Chicks Dig It, he said that that was the point where he started to believe in ghosts.
Hey, man, I believe in ghosts now.
He's like, I never, but we also, interestingly enough, in LA, the condition was if he was going to drive back to Canada with me instead of fly, we had to stay at the Cecil. Have you ever stayed there?
I was very long. I've been scared to stay at the Cecil Hotel because of so much history behind it. A lot of serial killers stayed there. The Lisa Lam story, just numerous bad things that have happened, and they actually renamed it Stay on Main, and I still didn't want to go. So
we stayed on the 13th floor of the hotel in one of the rooms 3 months after they found that body in the water cooler.
I heard the water tasted funny.
Yeah, my friend made this horrible joke. He's like, "They have running water there," and I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Of course they do," and I was like, "That's horrible."
Oh, yeah.
But it was still a crime scene when we showed up. There was like a sign on the elevator that was the elevator, and that video is trippy.
Yeah.
The only thing they found in her autopsy was a prolapsed anus. Did you know that?
I don't even know what that is.
It's when your butt comes out.
Oh. I didn't know that.
She had no drugs in her system. She had no alcohol.
Interesting.
My question is like there was no access to the water tower, and it had a lock on it, so there's no way.
So you have to kind of wonder, what's up with that prolapsed anus? Like, did she get sucked through a toilet or something? Like, I just don't understand how she got in there. There's no way.
Yeah, that's kind of what, your imagination might think. She got sucked through some kind of portal.
It's creepy, but if you go there ever, the 14th floor, room 1444. Go stay there.
1444, 1444.
Yeah, like when we were up there, like I was just starting to get into this a lot, and so my sensitivities weren't that good, but I get these overwhelming feelings where it was like all of a sudden I got rushed, and then I get goose pimples, and my eyes would water, and I'd hyperventilate. And I was up on the 14th floor, and it happened. So I told Mark, I was like, I bet you could blindfold me, take me around the whole entire place, and I could tell you when I'm in front of the door. And I did it, and he freaked out and said, "Let's go get beer."
Damn.
But you could feel it emanating out of the door, like static electricity. It was so crazy. I bet you that's probably where Richard Ramirez stayed, because also the day we stayed there, Richard Ramirez died in prison 3 days later.
Oh shit, chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
serial
Gacy
killer
stayed there. That prostitute from Florida, she stayed there. She was
that
a
guy
killer.
from what was that guy in the white suit? Remember the guy that would kill prostitutes? He was another serial killer, but he was from Europe somewhere.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And this is in LA, right?
yeah, it's like right downtown LA.
Hmm.
It's creepy, creepy place. If you've never been, you gotta go.
Hmm.
Um, have you ever been to like the Hollywood Forever Cemetery or the old LA Zoo or any of those locations in LA or?
No, when I was there last time, I was there with a friend, and he went with me to the Queen Mary, and we did the tour or whatever. I
Oh,
didn't want
okay.
to drive in LA, so he drove everywhere. He took me to the Rialto in Pasadena.
The theater?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I've
then
been
he
there.
also took me to the Suicide Bridge. I was
Pasadena,
on that, huh?
Pasadena Suicide Bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was on that thing 5 minutes, and then I started freaking out, and we left.
Yeah, it like people have seen like spirits there, and a lot of people have like seen spirits jump over the bridge, and they try to stop them, and then all of a sudden the spirit vanishes. So
It was so crazy. We were like, me and him were walking, and he's like a big guy, right? And then there were like this group of like 4 or 5 teenagers. And as soon as I saw them coming towards us on the bridge, I had this sinking feeling, and I was like, we need to leave, we need to leave, we need to leave, and I couldn't stop saying it. I'm like, we're not supposed to be here. And then we got back in his car, and as we were driving down the 10 freeway, his trunk popped open, and we had to like shut his trunk of his car on like the side of the 10 highway, which is almost scarier than anything else.
I I've had something happen on that 10 freight. I actually had the hood pop up and break my windshield.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy.
See, that
Yeah.
highway is so scary.
So do you think things follow you? I mean, do you think you ever have attachments that kind of go along for the ride and do weird things, or is this like coincidental?
I think I attract. Um, I don't know. This has been a part of my life since I was little. I just didn't know it was real, and now it's becoming so overwhelming that it's like I went to an antique store with my mom in Calgary, and we showed up, and by the end of it, the lady who worked there was crying because I connected with her dead husband who had a heart attack. I told her her husband had a heart attack. And she was like, I'm supposed to meet you here. And it's weird because I'll go to like, I went to South Dakota and had like 2 occurrences where I didn't even know came up to me on the street, and they were just like, we came here to find you. And it's like, no, you didn't. What are you talking about? And then they want me to connect with their dead friends. And it's like, yeah, okay, like if I can, but I have no idea how this all works. I just know what it feels like.
Well, how old were you when you started having experiences?
5.
Well, what was your first experience that you remember?
Um, I saw shadows in my room. Me and my sister shared a room, and I saw shadows at the bottom of my room. My house was haunted when I was a kid. It was in the older part of the suburb. Basically, Fish Creek is like this nice little area by my house where the Bow Valley Ranch is, which is really haunted, and a lot of battles probably happened there between the Indians and whatnot back in the day. But you could feel the energy in the house, and I had one time this phone call kept coming, and I picked it up, nobody was there, and my front door opened, and it was like someone was trying to break into my house. I think I was like 10 or something, and I ran over to the neighbor's house, the biggest neighbor's house, and he checked outside, and my parents came home and nobody could find anything. Kids in my neighborhood would come over and get freaked out. We'd all be sleeping in the same bed by the end of the night. You could hear kids in our backyard. Stuff moved on its own. All my grandparents dead. My dead grandparents, my mom's side, all their stuff was down there. So I attributed it to that, maybe.
So you just kind of, do you think you get opened up to it, or were you doing the
Yeah.
Ouija board or anything like that?
I did the Ouija board when I was a kid. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. How old were you when you started the Ouija board?
Grade 7. I
And,
was grade 7.
and
I was
what was your
there.
experience
What
with that?
were you by yourself, or were you with a group
No,
of
it was there's
friends?
like 5 friends, and then the Ouija board said it was going to kill me, and all my friends left.
They left or they laughed?
Yeah, they left.
They're like, all right, we're going. Have a good one.
And they left you with the Ouija board that was open to killing you.
Yeah, well,
What'd you do?
I don't know. It could have been anybody moving it around. I have no patience for those things, honestly. Like, I have ADHD. I'm not going to waste my time with the Ouija board. Sorry.
Goodbye. That's
You sit there and you're just like trying to, like, I can't even meditate. My mind is always going, you know?
So bucket list, what's on it?
Next year, it is my goal to be the first woman to ever stay a night in Waverly Hills by themselves.
Whoa, okay.
That's my goal. I want to go stay in the most haunted places and do it by myself. I'm telling you, man, whether people
how long are you looking to stay there for?
the whole night.
Oh, just one night? I had a friend, he did 3 nights there by himself.
Oh my
Really?
god, that's like $3,000.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah.
Did he come out normal?
No, he I mean, he's cool. So.
But I don't think a woman has done it. And when I asked the owner, she said no. So I want to be that, you know, Neil Armstrong on the moon thing.
The woman who stayed
woman.
24 hours by herself in Waverly Hills Sanitarium.
Oh my god, I just don't want to see myself. You know, there's that story like of the doppelganger. Like if you see yourself, you die.
I thought that's in like your dream. Isn't that like in a dream? Like if you see yourself in a dream, like it's bad or something like that.
No, it's like the doppelgangers. Like supposedly, like you walk around and then you see yourself, or like somebody else sees you and it's not there, but you're in the building or something.
Now that's at the Waverly, or is that anywhere?
I'm sure they exist probably in many places, but the only one that I really ever heard of on show was at Waverly.
Mm.
But, like by the end of it at the wall show, it was like I was just going up there with absolutely no equipment. I wouldn't even bring a flashlight. I would just kick the stairs the whole way up until I got to the top, and then all you have to do is lift your feet through all the doorways. And I would tell people, you know, that's the way to do it. And we get up there, and they were like, "Wow, it's totally different." I'm like, yeah.
So do you think the equipment like hinders spirit activity, helps it, or?
Well, wouldn't it kind of intimidate you? Like this is intimidating right now, staring at myself on my computer talking.
Doppelganger.
You know?
I mean, because
I don't do this that much.
I actually want to go to the Goldfield High School by myself.
Do it.
Do it. Do it.
Because, like, Rocky and I were talking, and it's like, why do you want to do these things? And it's like, you want to push yourself farther and farther and face your fears.
Push it to the limit.
You want to experience, you know, you being able to conquer your fears. And so I'm kind of afraid of the basement down in there. So I really want to get in there by myself. So
you know, when you go down to the basement, in the back staircase at the back by the big room, by the piano room, that staircase, you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, in the high school or the hotel?
No, the hotel.
Yes.
So when you go down there, there's that T intersection, right?
Mm-hmm.
That goes down to the hallway to the elevator, but it's like that whole hallway that you're in as soon as you get downstairs. That T intersection, there's something there. That's where I think that dog is, honestly.
So you think that's the growling, right? Because we heard it.
I heard Snowflake.
What about the portal? Isn't there a portal to hell down there?
Well, I have seen a man come out of a wall there, so, and that was in the basement just by the T, but it was closer towards the brick room. It was like a quarter of the way down that hallway on the right side, if you're facing that direction. And it's like you can see like a really weird warp. And the thing too is like I have so many EVPs, and they're like, "What do you think are in the walls, Robin?" Like so. That's where I think it is.
I think there's a portal up on the third floor. That's my.
There.
The hotel.
Oh no, the high school.
Oh, the high school. Yeah,
Yeah.
back to the high school. You've never been there, right?
Mm-mm.
It's haunted.
But now there are tunnels going from all those buildings. We did find a map at the Goldfield High School showing all the tunnels, and they go straight over to the hotel.
But haven't you noticed that almost every really haunted place has underground tunnels?
That's true. Palomino Club would be another one. So.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Washington,
a different dimension.
Mackey.
And then the what's that one over the mafia one? I haven't done it yet. It's a loft. God, I can't think of the name right now.
Are you talking about a hotel or a house?
It's a hotel that leads to like a bed and breakfast, and it was a mafia place, and I can't think of the name. And that place is extremely haunted, and oh, man, it has like
What
10
city?
rooms upstairs. It's in California.
Have you done many prisons?
No.
Prisons are scary.
Oh.
I was doing events at Old Montana State Prison
Mm-hmm.
in Montana with the curators and stuff. And we had really scary nights there. The second scariest night I've ever stayed, we had REM pods working without any power. We had to take the batteries out to get them to shut up. They would say things like, one of them told us that it was an elemental, and then it told us to go back in the 1912 building, which is where I would get really aggressive. I get to this one point, and it was like every person talking to me was nails on a chalkboard or something. The shower room was crazy. I'll never go in the hole there again.
Well, why not? Tell us some of your experiences there.
Well, we stayed there on the anniversary of the infamous 1959 riot. We decided that was a good idea. It also turned out to be Easter. I did research on the grounds before we went, and I found out that before that was a prison, Montana's first territorial prison, that was an area where a group of religious people called the Morrisites were located, which was led by Joseph Morris. They were a break off of Brigham Young's Mormonism, and supposedly they believed in reincarnation. So they were all settled there. Brigham Young sent over men, they captured them, then he sent over more men, and they stormed their little settlement, and they killed a whole bunch of people. And so I found these sermons that Joseph Morris ended up writing, because basically they killed him and his first successor, which is interesting because in the time the prison was open, it was almost like every 50 years it was open.
Mm-hmm.
The assistant warden died in the exact same spot by two people that came to kill him in the same manner. So I believe there's an elemental there. I believe there's a whole bunch of that stuff. But that night we read the sermon, and I think the second line was like, "For the earth will shake in my presence." And then 3 months later, Montana was hit with its biggest earthquake since the 1800s, which was crazy.
Man.
So by elemental, which one? Like, what do you mean?
So an elemental, right, like spirit that's been there since before man. Basically, the natives would never hunt there or anything. They would always avoid that valley.
Do you mean like the jinn, or do you mean like demon?
I mean like natural spirit. You're not gonna get me talking about demons because I choose not to believe in them.
I always wanted to do Eastern State Penitentiary, or that one's really haunted. So.
Dude, that one's shaped like an asterisk. It's so cool. Like you got to think about like the geography and like the layout of everything and how it affects it. It'd be so interesting to go there.
Well, I think wasn't Albert talking about doing a road trip to Waverly, or what was he?
I thought it was Tommy's Chili Burgers. No. No.
I really want to go do Waverly. I really want to go do Sloss Furnace.
Where's that?
I really want to go to this place in Wyoming called the Occidental. It's an old bordello. I love brothels. They're my favorite. I think I was a prostitute.
Me too.
I love brothels. Actually, I wore this. I don't actually wear this like all the time, but this right here, this is the owner of the Dumas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, his family gave me his ashes, and so I have them with me all the time. He's like my spirit guide, I think. I think I got to meet my spirit guide before he became my spirit guide. That's what I think. So,
That's cool.
yeah. God only knows. But if you ever get the chance to go to the Dumas, definitely check that out. That's probably one of my favorite places. I had my recorder ripped out of my pocket like 4 times on the second floor. I saw John Farron, and he chased me up the stairs, and it was the only time I screamed in like 3 days. It was so funny. I actually slept through a drug raid. There was a drug raid because people were smoking crystal meth in there while I was in there. I'm not just kidding.
Did you get arrested?
Huh?
Did you get arrested with the rest of them?
No,
Or no?
I was asleep in room 7, and they totally avoided me. And then I woke up, and the owner's mom was like in the doorway, and I almost crapped the bed. I was like, oh my God. This little lady, and she's like, you can stay here. And I was like,
why doesn't anyone go to sleep around here?
Right? You just got
The
you.
ghost hunters are going all night.
I know, these ghost hunters are going all night.
Yeah. I don't do that, so I segregated myself and went to bed.
Well, what is your advice for the rest of for the new people starting out that want to take on this trek like you did? What's your advice?
Be humble, be respectful, know your limits. Don't push too hard. Don't let your ego get in the way. You know, don't make it about being famous. Make it about having experiences. You'll get a lot more out of it. I mean, your intention is everything. Go in there with the best of intentions. Don't ever investigate if you have a bad day. That's dumb. And just always listen to your gut instinct. You know, if you think something's wrong, then it probably is.
Do you get more activity without the equipment?
Yes.
Well, what's different about that?
Like I said before, I think it's like more. You're less intimidating. Like if you like, I went up to like the second floor and I just sat there and I just listened. You know, more stuff happened the time that we just sat and listened than anything else. You know, so what was it, June 20th or something? We were at the wall show and I was starting my tours. Carl finished the last one at 5. I was going up at 6. I counted 11 people go up the stairs to the second floor because that's what you do, and then you shut the door. By the time I finished my tour, there were only 10 people that came down.
I was hoping you'd say none of them came back.
So possibly one was a spirit.
But I saw a man, and I always said this one area, you know the hallway on the second floor that runs along the back rooms that goes towards that part that overlooks the crypt?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've always thought that was a portal. Like that staircase that goes to nowhere, I think that's where they come and go. And so basically, I was standing there, and this guy with brass glasses, I'll never forget it, came right up to me solid, and he was wearing a like green golf shirt that was tucked into jeans, totally modern. And he asked me, he said, "What is this?" And I said, "Sir, this is the crypt. Don't worry, we'll see it from the bottom perspective as well. I'll just get you to go in that room and we'll talk about it." And that was when he disappeared.
Whoa! Did other people see it or just you?
Yeah, there was a Mexican lady, and I was like, "Where's the man with the brass glasses?" And so I sent the Barker upstairs to search for him because I remember talking to him. I lost sight of him in the ballroom, which is like pretty much a quarter of the way through the tour. And we get downstairs, and I'm like, there's a middle-aged man up there with these brass glasses, and this Mexican lady hears me. She's like, oh my God, I saw him. Where is he? And so I was like, shut up. I was like, you draw what you saw, and I'll draw what I saw, and let's not talk. And we drew the same man.
Did anyone else see it, or do you think that's a gift to see those spirits?
I think it's a gift, but also it was hilarious because if there were Mexican people on my tour, there was an experience. It's like they come after them. So this is the picture that the woman drew. Really good, right? Check them out. And that's the picture I drew. Really good art, right? For spur of the moment. But it was really interesting because when we got back downstairs, there was actually an ambulance across the street at the bucket of blood.
Whoa.
So,
do you think someone died and just walked over?
I like went over and asked, and nobody really knew anything about what had happened. I don't think anybody died per se. Maybe somebody got a heart attack and then died in a hospital later or something. I have no clue. But he was dressed in modern clothes. He wasn't like an old-timey person. And the other thing too was the guy who was on Carl's tour at 5 p.m. came back to the podium right after I was on my tour. You get like 10 minutes between. And he walked up to Halen, the barker, and he was like, I caught something. And I was like, oh my God, was it a man? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, was it a man at the back by the crypt? And he's like, yes. And there's a picture of a man in the staircase.
Damn.
Yeah. So I personally believe when I went on my tour, I was like, the one thing I want to see more than anything in the world is I want to see a dead person take my tour and then realize they were dead later. So I got what I wanted.
Wow.
So let's get back to the staircase. Did it ever actually used to go somewhere, or?
I think it went out to B Street, but I think it was probably remodeled after the explosion, but I don't know for sure because there was that explosion in 1873, which blew off that portion of the building.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And 12 people died in that explosion.
So, Robin, are you this fascinates me, and we talked about it before. And I don't know if you want to bring it up. I know Rocky's a little hesitant about creatures, possibly.
Oh, you want to
We
talk
can't
about
talk creatures. Yeah, I don't know. I want to know, but if Rocky says it's not okay,
I'll talk about the smoke portal. That's fine. You want to talk about the smoke creature?
yeah, talk about that.
Okay, so it was Devil's Night 2016. Me and a girl named Anne were staying up there. It was about, 2, 1 a.m. or something like that. We were in the ballroom. You can look straight down. You can see kind of like where the cases are in that whole hallway. Well, up in the corner on this side, a swirling black cloud of smoke started to swirl like this. And as it swirled, so did a giant, inhuman, shadowy limb pop out of what I believe to be the smoke portal. And as it did, it emitted a sound that echoed through the building. That's what it sounded like. It was really loud. I looked away because I was terrified. And when I looked back, I saw something made of smoke, and it was crawling along the walls towards us. And that's when the girl next to me started to have a panic attack and hyperventilate.
Could you describe what it looked like just a little bit more?
If it was, okay, imagine a man had sex with a spider and then produced another man Spider-Man. It was like a shadow with these claw-like limbs. They almost look like, have you ever seen chameleons' hands?
Like a lizard, with claws, kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah, so it crawls out from its legs first, and then it just kind of like goes around everywhere.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Where can we're gonna this is the last where can people find you if they wanted to ask you any questions or
If you want to find me, I'm on Instagram as Lori Myers, or on Facebook as Lori Myers because of what transpired. But That's unfortunate.
Mm.
I also have a little site. I gave you the link,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a site with all my EVPs. If you want to put it up or anything, there's
Okay.
about 200 audio clips on there from various places I've investigated. Um, More than welcome to get a hold of me through email, lori.myers@hotmail.com. I'll come stay in any of your haunted buildings by myself, no problem.
Well, thanks for being on our show and telling us your experiences. You know, we enjoy having you. Thank you so much.
Dude, this is like the greatest thing ever. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. Oh my god, our phones are ringing here. Like it's time to go.
I'll go ahead and post those links up in the comment section after the show.
Yeah,
Awesome.
It was great talking to you.
I'll see you guys in Vegas in May, right?
yeah,
Awesome.
definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks so much. I
have a
hope you
good night.
guys have fun. Take care.
Thanks.
Trying to. All right, everyone. That wraps up our show for tonight. Um, and of course, let me send a shout out to my sponsors. First one being Las Vegas Oddities. Be sure to go out there, check out the Haunted Vintage Collection. Also mention Rocky. You will get a discount. And oh, my thing's off. Shadow Mafia Paranormal. Head out over to paranormalonair.com. Click on the Shadow Mafia link, and then it'll take you to some great paranormal evidence on YouTube. And last but not least, paranologies.com. They got a lot of new equipment, a lot of new varieties of paranormal gear. You type in on air in the discount section, I believe it is, and they will give you a paranormal on air discount. Well, that wraps up our show. Appreciate everyone who came on to ask questions, join us. I'm going to check out the Facebook feed later on to see if anything went wrong and go from there. But once again, thanks for being on. Thanks for watching the show, and so I will see you next week. Be there if you dare.